Hello everyone, I'm Bill Shires with StoneAge Water Blast Tools, and I'm very proud to introduce to you a new product that we're launching called the Compass. Why I'm so proud about this new product launch is that this is an industry-unique developed tool to do a couple of things that increase the safety and the working environment for our water blast contractors. This is a unique tool that now allows operators to clean in confined spaces commonly found in ethanol plants and for evaporators and condensers. And so previously, before the introduction of the Compass, operators were forced to sit on a bucket or hand feed lances one at a time through individual tubes while they're standing in a confined space. So they'll need to have the permits and the safety suits, brought in air supply. It's a very dangerous, dark, hazardous working environment. The Compass now removes the operator completely from those hazards. Operators can now work safely from a control panel remotely outside of the vessel. And so they can do it all by using a camera and do it remotely. And so what are these applications? You'll find these applications, I have an example here. This is ethanol evaporators, but again, you'll find it in pulp and paper. You'll find it in all kinds of different industries. The reason is it's very difficult for a plant to take the caps off of these vessels and then put them back on and get the seal just right on each one of the evaporators. So it's required to send a man in to go clean each one of those tubes. A guy would typically climb in through a manway on the side, stand on the tube sheet face, and again do each tube by hand. Our whole goal here is to provide safer, lighter weight, less expensive, much more industrial quality equipment for our water blast contractors, and the Compass is here to do that for you. What I'd like to show you next are the major components that comprise the Compass system. Most importantly is this control box here. This control panel is designed to be used outside of the evaporator, outside of the contained vessel. Operators will have equipment that you're familiar with already. So we have our incoming air supply to our filter, regulator, lubrication systems here. We have optional posts that can support our control panel here. And they'll be operating it by watching our camera here. So all of this again is done without having to have line of sight inside the vessel, and you're outside, very safe from the high pressure water. My primary functions on my control panel is of course the high pressure water on off switch. We call it the dump. We have a rotary that will move our system left and right. We have our linear, which then drives the tractor along the axis of the rail. And then we have our hose feed and retract. So all the functions are on this very lightweight, portable box. He could have it sitting on his lap, he can have it in his hands, or he could leave it on the post here. The next major part of our system here is what makes this system really unique in the industry and why it's not available from any of the other manufacturers. So previous to the Compass, other manufacturers had offered some equipment where they're literally putting a square frame in a round application. And when you do that, you're going to be left with tubes on the outside of your square box frame. So then you're required to come in afterwards and use high pressure hand lancing to go get those tubes done. Very inefficient, and of course defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do here, getting our operators hands off the high pressure hose and out of the work environment. So to do this, what we've done is we start with the spider plate here. This spider plate is a very adjustable mounting mechanism. We can operate this depending on the size of the vessel. Here I've got, of course, a very small trade show stand here, but a typical environment, like I've shown in the picture there, they can be 10, 12 feet in diameter. And so what we can do is work with our engineering team here, and we'll tell you how many places and where to locate that spider plate so you have the fewest number of repositionings of the product. We're, again, trying to focus on getting this cleaned as soon as possible. And so we can move the legs, and to attach the spider plate, we have this. This is an expansion plug setup. Common terminology in the US would be called a plumber's plug. And so as I rotate the handle here, it compresses a hard plastic against a softer durometer plastic. This will expand inside the tube, and that's what holds our spider plate in place. This is really important to know that this demonstrated here, I'm in a vertical situation, but this is very applicable for horizontal applications also. If, let's say you did have a 10 or 12 foot diameter condenser, I would then put this spider plate, I could even run two machines at one time, or I can again relocate this, and with your drawing support, we'll tell you exactly where to position this spider plate. But that is an industry unique item there. Do know that we offer several sizes of these. There's not a lot of range with a plastic plug, so we have a reference chart and we can tell you to what tube size and which plug set that you need. In fact, it's not uncommon now to just get the whole kit of these, and that allows you to walk up to any job site and be ready to go with your spider plate assembly. On top of our spider plate assembly is this rotary gearbox. This rotary gearbox is very industrial, it's very heavy duty. It's the heaviest single part on this, which is only 17, 18 pounds. So it's very easy to transport. But that's what allows us to give our motion from right to left. Installation of not only just the plumber's plug here, our expansion bolt assembly, but the gearbox, the rail, all of it is done without tools. I'm doing it all just by hand. The only time I need to actually use a tool is to install a Banshee or a rotary tool of your choice to the end of the high pressure hose and all the high pressure line connections going back to the pump. But the installation of this assembly requires no tools at all. That's also a very, very important aspect. So the rail slides on and off this rotary gearbox, which we'll demonstrate when we take the machine apart at the end. This is the length of the rail that we offer. We can step it up a little bit further to our max reach, and we have what's called a splice tube. So StoneAge has been offering splice tubes for all of our equipment for many years. So your max reach is achieved by sliding this in. You have a male receiver. You'll bolt this in, and then that reaches your max length. We can't exceed this length because it gets to be too much weight on the end of a given rail. What you see on the ends of our rails are our hose stops, and that just prevents the operator from driving the tractor off of the rail on either side. The next most important feature, and what makes this another industry unique item, is this bent tube. The bent tube is very important. This allows us to get out to the end and reach the outside radius inside of our evaporator. So now we can get all the tubes within that given workspace. I'm going to demonstrate that a little bit here. I'm going to rotate it while Randy has that focused on the tubes there. By having a single pivot point where our spider plate is, that allows us to rotate across an arc. And that allows us to get right up against the edge of a dome. And typically, the dome height is very short on these. In fact, a guy who would be sitting on a bucket on top of the heat exchanger face would be crouched over with his head up against the inside ceiling of the work environment. So this reduces our height and gets a reach out that allows us to get all those tubes once again. So those very, very important industry unique items there. Driving our hose in and out is our ProDrive tractor. This ProDrive tractor is used in all kinds of different ways now. We originally designed it to be a pipe cleaning machine, and we now use it for cleaning boilers, for rotating hoses on the Navigator. We've used it on our ProPositioner, which is also another version of a heat exchanger cleaner. Really lightweight, extremely durable, and you can change the rollers out here to match different hose sizes. And I'm going to show that to you here. I have a kit that we can supply with the Compass tool here. And I really recommend this. Our goal is to be able to show up on the job site and be able to use any pressure, any size of high pressure hose. We have our safety stop, so this prevents the hose from backing up out of the machine. And then we have different size rollers with different grooves in them to accommodate all different hose sizes. We also have a hose stop on the back end. And how that works is the high pressure hose will be fed through the tractor. The stop hits this mechanical stop here. So now we're operating from stop to stop to stop. So we have complete containment of the high pressure hose at all times. Again, everything is assembled by quick release levers, and I'll demonstrate that when we take it apart. We do know that in some applications, customers are going to be requiring really large diameter hose at really long lengths. Some of these evaporators can be 50, 60 feet in length. When you get into more challenging applications, please refer to our solutions team, and we can recommend a different type of gearbox. We have different ratio gearboxes available. It's per order, and we'll spec it out to make sure that we get the correct feed rates and have enough torque to drive your given application. What we'd like to demonstrate now is what this actually looks like for the operator using the equipment. So we have a little demonstration setup here. I'm pretending to be outside the vessel using my camera system and my control panel here, while the equipment is in place inside the vessel. And so I demonstrated previously the functions of the control panel, but let's put them to the test now. So I need to rotate to go to the next tube. And since we're on an arc, it's always going to require that I have a small bump on my linear tractor to get in line with the next tube. But then I can do that again, get lined up again. And so I'm using my camera here to keep track of the tubes I'm doing. I'll typically go from the top left corner, if you will, work laterally, come down and do a chain so I keep track of the tubes that I've cleaned. In fact, a good idea and an optional item for this equipment is to actually have a secondary camera. The camera we have here is focused very closely on the tube alignment, if you will, where my snout tube is getting in line with the tube I'm going to clean. Having a second camera can be towards the manway, and it'd have a wide, broad view of the entire work environment. It kind of just helps having the operator not lose a frame of reference of where he is within the inside the vessel. So I've used my rotary, and then I will use my linear, and I can bump and run. And in between that, I will be using my feeding hoses in until it hits the stop. Bring it out until it hits the stop. And then while I'm under pressure, of course, I will have this will be connected to hopefully a pneumatic operated dump valve. I'm a big proponent of using pneumatic dump valves and not using foot dump operated. That way we truly are hands and feet free from the high pressure water. So very simple. Again, I can take this off and I can be remote and portable with it. I can walk around a safe distance of the working area. And when I'm not, I can leave it on this post, and it's waist high, so it's very ergonomic for an operator to use this system. As an industrial leader in manufacturing of water blasting equipment, we always have two customers in mind that we're working with. We have our water blast contractors who buy and use the equipment, and of course we have the asset owners, the plants themselves, who are looking for improvements in several areas. They're looking for better efficiency, productivity, and most importantly, safety. And so I'd like to take a few moments just to talk about some of the value points here that the Compass offers you to address both of our customer types. So for plants and asset owners, by far and away, the most important thing is they want to get individuals out of the high pressure water blasting zone. So we get them out of there, get them in a safe place, working with the camera remotely with the system. Another important thing for that is the quick setup time, and then the efficiency, how quick it is to clean each tube. And then you could change our jetting style for our heads. You can adjust the feed rate going in and coming back. So all that should help the contractor get the job done a lot quicker. For our water blast contractors, this is an ideal tool for many reasons. First of all, the portability. It's easy just to take this apart and put it back together. We're going to demonstrate that here in a minute. It's great for first-time automated equipment operators, right? This isn't an intimidating type of machine. In fact, this is a machine that's easy to set up and easy to operate from the remote control panel there. So it's great for regional locations, employees that aren't familiar with automated equipment. It's just very easy to set up and very easy to use. Another one for a benefit for the contractor is that these parts and pieces are all part of other equipment that we offer. As I mentioned before, this is traditionally a pipe cleaning type of tractor. We've taken that ProDrive, put it on here. This 2.5-inch box reel is used across all of our automated equipment, our 2-lance machines, 3-lance machines. It comes in all different lengths. So you get this utilization. A contractor can get this system or put it together from owning a ProPositioner or a ProDrive AutoPack system. So that's a great way to get more value out of the equipment that you're buying. Also, this equipment is available for both rent and for purchase. And at StoneAge, and I believe only at StoneAge, 100% of your rental dollars go to the ownership of the equipment. So what this is a very modular system. If you owned the ProDrive as a ProDrive pipe cleaning type system, what we've done is taken the tractor and the call-up block assembly and our safety stops here, and we've mounted it with this one special easy bracket here to then be supported at an angle for this application. So you could buy the other components of our compass and just add your tractor. Another option is, let's say you bought the ProPositioner. The ProPositioner is really the majority of all this, except for the rotary gearbox and the spider plate. It had come with a half-moon flange. So we can take you from incremental steps to get you a configured package without having to buy the whole system at any one time. So the compass is designed to be used with our rotary tools. We offer a wide range of both Banshees, which are designed for doing straight pipe tube cleaning, available in any pressure. We also offer the Beetles. In fact, the BT25 has proven to be one of the most effective rotary tools in conjunction with the Compass automated system here. So work with our regional sales managers and they'll help you spec out not just the tool type, but then also the jetting pattern. And that's something to pay a lot of attention to when you're running this type of equipment. You can be running a universal head or a head with too much pull, which just adds a lot of demand to the tractor, which maybe isn't needed in any case at all. And so we can offer you a polishing head or even what we call a neutral balanced head. So it's not putting that load with the weight of the hose, the water in the hose, and the jet angles of the tool, putting too much load on the tractor. So we can offer you several different techniques, science and water blast techniques to help make your job as efficient as possible. One final note is equipment that's not included with the compass, and it's important to make these considerations when you're doing your pre-job planning. We do not offer a light system for this. In often cases, like in the evaporators shown on our screen here, these are dark and poorly lit, no lit environments. And then the water blasting itself actually creates a mist within the contained vessel. And so having lighting is very important. I mentioned having a second optional camera to give you a larger view of the work area. That's also helpful. And then a final note is there are devices called evacuators. And what these evacuators do is help push air through the environment, and it'll get the mist out of the way, providing the light to do its work and then the camera here to do its work also. And do know that we've put extensive testing into our camera systems, and so we've got a lot of work, a lot of success with using cameras in these poorly lit environments. So I'd like to demonstrate how easy it is to assemble and disassemble the compass system. It's got to be one of the easiest things in the industry to do. So I'm going to start with removing the air lines. Most of the air lines are push-lock air fitting hoses, so easily just attaches right from our air motors. For our higher volume air lines, we do have the traditional JIC 8 fittings. This should have been installed with a wrench, but for our demonstrations here, we just left them hand tight, but under operations, I would definitely have put a little bit more tension on that. And after the air lines are done, you'll see that the umbilical for our camera is also connected with the air lines, and that's a good way to keep the equipment safe. Once the air lines are removed, I'm going to remove the tractor itself. And I'm going to rotate this so you can see what I'm going to do here. It's a quick release lever, which is fantastic. You don't need to go find a wrench to install this. This is also how we adjust the height of our guide tube against the tube sheet face. Next, I'm going to remove our safety stops. I have one on the front and the rear. I only need to remove one. And our linear tractor has quick release levers also. That allows me to engage and disengage the motor across the rail. So I'll show that to you again here. I have a similar handle for the rail that allows me to slide the rail in and out. And then I have the 4 plugs that would represent if I was in an actual tube sheet to remove here. So this is it, the Compass, an industry unique tool to help increase safety. I believe this tool is actually going to save lives for water blast contractors around the world. It's a combination of existing equipment that we've had already. Many of our contractors own parts and pieces of this already, so we can help configure it for them. 5 individual components with no tools required to put it together. It's just an absolute easy way to go and provide much safer and much more productive water blasting today.